All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. The tactical boards are set, the tension is already building, and today we're delivering a high-stakes, comprehensive scouting report on arguably one of the most fascinating teams entering the 2026 World Cup. We're talking about South Korea's national team, the Taeguk Warriors. We're going to break down their squad, dive into their deeply polarizing manager, and look at the absolutely brutal group stage gauntlet waiting for them in North America. But before we look at the whole squad, we absolutely have to talk about the number 58. 33-year-old captain and global football icon, Son Heung-min is entering what very well might be his final World Cup. He recently bagged a brace in a pre-tournament warm-up, which pushed his international goal tally to 56. That leaves him just 2 goals away, literally 2 strikes, from tying the legendary Cha Bum-kun's all-time national scoring record of 58 goals. Think about the narrative weight on Son's shoulders here, as he chases this historic milestone on the sport's biggest possible stage. It is massive. Okay, let's dive into this highly structured scouting report. We're going to cover the legacy of the Taeguk Warriors, their star-studded roster, the managerial drama, their tactical blueprint, the Group A gauntlet, and finally, their 2026 outlook. Let's start right off with Section 1, the legacy of the Taeguk Warriors and a history of resilience. Now, you really can't analyze this team without understanding their pedigree. The team's nickname actually comes from the Taeguk symbol on their flag, which represents dynamic balance, discipline, and this sort of cosmic resilience. And man, that resilience is written all over their timeline. In 1954, they were the very first Asian team to play at a World Cup. Fast forward to 2018, and they delivered that historic 2-0 upset that literally knocked defending champions Germany out of the tournament. Today, they're entering their 12th overall appearance, marking an incredible 11 consecutive qualifications. But you know, the true ghost that both haunts and inspires this team is 2002. That miraculous semifinal run on home soil under Gus Hiddink forever changed national expectations. It proved an Asian team could reach the Final Four, and that incredible benchmark is exactly how the public still judges the national team today. Moving right along to Section 2, the star-studded roster and the European pedigree tasked with carrying that heavy historical legacy. And this brilliantly illustrates just how far South Korean football has evolved. Look, this is no longer just a regional powerhouse. We are talking genuine, world-class talent anchored at some of the biggest clubs on the planet. You've got Kim Min-jae shutting down attackers at Bayern Munich, the incredible technical brilliance of Lee Kong-yin at Paris Saint-Germain, the high-intensity Premier League threat of Hwang Hee-chan at Wolves, and of course, Son Heung-min, who is now lighting up MLS with LAFC after his legendary stint at Tottenham. This sustained pipeline of elite quality gives them a ceiling that can absolutely threaten anyone on the global stage. But you know, any good scouting report requires us to look at the flaws, too. And when we compare their positional groups, a glaring vulnerability emerges. While they have incredible, world-class depth in defense and midfield, players spread across the Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and the Championship, their forward line is dangerously thin. Manager Hong Young-bo has included only 3 recognized strikers in his 26-man squad: Son Heung-min, Cho Gi-sung, and Oh Hyung-yu. And because Son often operates from the left wing, this setup heavily dictates their style of play. They are basically forced to rely immensely on their midfield to arrive late into the box and generate goals. So if Son is off his rhythm or if injuries strike those 3, their goal production is going to face a serious crisis. Which brings us to Section 3, the managerial drama and the return of Hong Young-bo. Now, Hong Young-bo is a deeply revered figure. He was the legendary captain of that 2002 squad. He took over the team for a second spell in 2024, and strictly statistically speaking, his tenure has been dominant. Just look at these numbers: 11 wins, 5 draws, 0 losses, and 40 goals scored in the AFC qualifiers. They were actually the only Asian team to qualify for this World Cup completely undefeated. On paper, it looks like a flawlessly executed campaign. Yet the reality on the ground is starkly different. During his very first match back in charge at the Seoul World Cup Stadium, Hong was booed relentlessly by a crowd of 60,000 fans. The intense backlash is rooted in his controversial hiring process, which bypassed what fans felt should have been a transparent, merit-based system. Plus, there's some residual frustration from his disappointing first managerial spell back in 2014. Hong has publicly accepted this, stating, "I understand where the fans come from. This is something I will have to endure going forward." Now, we're not here to take a side on the hiring process itself, but purely from a scouting perspective, an atmosphere where the national team manager is shunned by his own fans represents a massive psychological hurdle. It's an undeniable layer of pressure that this squad is going to have to navigate. Let's move into Section 4 and look at how this team actually plays on the pitch. the tactical blueprint, and their system and philosophy.
So Hong Mingbo has installed a highly adaptable tactical system. It all starts in a really fluid 4-2-3-1 formation. They initiate their build-up play directly from the back through Kim Min-jae, relying heavily on his elite distribution. From there, they aim to control the tempo using a double pivot in midfield, usually featuring Hwang In-bum and Park Sun-ho, before looking to unleash the sheer pace of Son and Lee King-in in transition. But notice step 4 in this progression. Hong knows that against world-class opposition, he desperately needs defensive solidity, so they transition seamlessly into a 3-4-3 system against elite pressing teams. However, this entire blueprint absolutely hinges on the fitness of Kim Min-jae, who has been really carefully managed following a long-term Achilles injury at Bayern.
And that defensive flexibility is going to be tested for sure. Because despite breezing through Asian qualifying, their recent A-match friendlies have definitely set off some alarm bells. So the crucial point is this. When faced with higher-tier international competition, real cracks have appeared. They suffered a 5-0 loss to Brazil, a 4-0 loss to Ivory Coast, and a 1-0 loss to Austria. These pre-tournament red flags exposed very real defensive vulnerabilities for when this squad is confronted with elite, technically adept sides that know exactly how to high press and exploit space.
Which perfectly segues into Section 5, the Group A gauntlet, and the toughest opponents. Who exactly will they be facing when the tournament kicks off? Well, here is the data for Group A. You've got co-host Mexico ranked 15th, South Korea at 22nd, the Czech Republic at 44th, and South Africa at 61st. Now look closely at the advancement probabilities provided by European betting markets and Football Benchmark. There is a fascinating contradiction right here. Despite South Korea sitting significantly higher in the FIFA rankings than the Czech Republic, the data models actually give the Czech Republic an 80% chance to advance, compared to South Korea's 69.4%. So you might be wondering, why on earth do the models favor the 44th ranked team over the 22nd ranked team?
The answer lies heavily in the logistics. South Korea is facing a severe situational disadvantage here. Because Mexico is a co-host, all 3 of South Korea's group matches will be played in Mexico, specifically in Guadalajara and Monterrey. This means South Korea is essentially playing 3 consecutive away games in high-altitude environments. They've literally had to hold pre-tournament training camps in Utah just to acclimatize their bodies to the thin air. And it gets even harder. On June 18th, they face Mexico, playing the co-hosts in their own country, surrounded by a fanatical, heavily partisan crowd. That is a logistical and psychological nightmare that the data models have heavily factored into their predictions.
Finally, let's bring it all together in Section 6, the 2026 Tournament Outlook and Tournament Projections.
While Group A is incredibly daunting, there is actually a massive structural cushion in this tournament, 48. This is the very first World Cup to feature an expanded 48-team format. What this means on a practical level is that the top 2 teams from each group advance, sure, but so do the 8 best third-place finishers. This provides a crucial safety net for South Korea. Let's say they stumble against the host nation Mexico and drop points to a really physical Czech Republic squad. A strong result against South Africa could still secure them a third-place finish with just enough points to squeeze into the newly minted round of 32. It meaningfully reduces the sheer panic of a single bad match. So, we arrive at the ultimate question. The Taeguk Warriors boast an undefeated qualifying record, a roster packed with stars from Bayern, PSG, and the Premier League, and a captain who was literally 2 goals away from becoming the greatest scorer in his nation's history. But on the flip side, they also face intense fan unrest, a glaring over-reliance on a few key players, and the absolute nightmare of high-altitude away games in Mexico. Does this star-studded squad have the magic to channel the ghost of 2002? Or will their structural flaws and the overwhelming pressure lead to an early, heartbreaking exit? Well, their pivotal opening match against the Czech Republic on June 11th is going to give us our first real answer. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.